We're speaking about the fact that it has just been announced by the Prime Minister of Jamaica that he will be looking into building a dance hall school, right? This will be a new academy. Those of you who, I think you guys missed that word, academy,
Right.
in St. Catherine, that will train, among other things, local reggae artists, dancehall and reggae artists, to be better at their craft, such as performing and things such as that. What do you feel about this? Call your life.
I support the idea of the school, just not under the auspices of the government. Here's why. Right us out, Chin, on the same platform, you talked about the fact that more than 50% of youths coming out of primary school, going to high school, can't even read. Okay? So if the government has been such an abject failure on basic education, why would we want to turn over the education of dancehall or some other form of education to them?
That's a great point.
We need the school because dancehall as we know it is dead, right? The dancehall we used to, whether I'm gonna mix down the punani and I'm gonna ride it, or Derek Barnett a beat a plucking bass string and drum give him some one drop, that's dead. Them you give Skeng and Skilly Bang and whatever them name, Silk Bass, don't ask them, me only hear the name, them, me don't know what them sing say. But put them you upon the punani, put them on the sling thing, then drop off and chip up. Then go up on stage with Derek Barnett and a good drummer give him some one drop, then flap.
And again, I'm worried about the same thing. I'm worried about the government involvement, their agenda, right? It's a great idea. How it's supposed to be run and who is going to run it would definitely be the factor in whether it will fail or pass. But I think it's
Right.
definitely a great idea. And it's not watering down. It is more...
Right.
What it would do is create two lanes then.
Yeah.
The people them who want to be wild and untamed,
Them have
wanna
the
go that
street-
way
the
there,
streets still
right?
there.
And then the man them will war, them thing be a little bit more corporate and polished. You know, you go that way.
I hear what you're saying, and I mean what we're talking about is very lofty, but not everyone that has the knowledge wants to teach or pass
can.
anything on.
Well, give
You
the
know what I'm
ones who
saying?
do.
I know,
So
I
I mean,
know.
we're naming all these names that are in our industry, but an idea is like that, you know, I know everybody are gonna give them time to that.
No, but you- if you
Because
think
you
about
mentioned
it,
man
you
with
know,
we're foreign, right? Hold on, you mentioned man with we move and gone a foreign.
Which was my point to you.
Nothing's gonna bring these guys back to
Mitch.
Jamaica except money, and you're not gonna get me to leave Florida for come to Jamaica to come talk about do it for the
True.
culture.
Even if this is not the best idea, there has to be something that we do different from the norm to save the direction that the culture and the music is going into.
Hey, me agree with the government 100%, brother, because you see, the school for bill where you know that all the overseas who want to come overseas come study dancehall at Jamaica, just like university where people all over the world come home study.
Think about if there was a way to institutionalize this export, this major export, to kind of polish it off and make it be presented better.
Right.
And I'm not saying, Drew, I'm not saying to dilute. I'm not saying to change the course. I'm just basically giving you guys a different perspective, because sometimes as soon as we hear something that's not familiar to the ears, no man, that can't go on. They can't go on, right? And then when the culture dies, we then turn around and we
Why we
cuss
never
the
save it?
culture,
So-
right? What this reminds me of right now, Drew, sound clash. This is what we're facing right now here with these comments is the same thing that, you know, some of us at this table have been saying a couple years ago. And the people them said, no, can't do that. Can't do that.
Look where we're now.
And look at where we are now. So sometimes keeping something authentic in its purest form limits its lifespan. When sometimes things get to a point where you gotta say, rotted, right now, at this point, we need to do this in order to preserve the life. When we talk about a school of dancehall people, right? I think that a lot of you are restricting your thought to Beanie Man and Bounty Killer and Skeng and Bang and Lang, right? Basically saying a school of dancehall is supposed to harness everything, right? So the dancers who create the movement of dancehall, they should be involved in the school. The sound man them will create the noise in the dancehall space.
Have to
be embodied in the school of dancehall, right? It has to be a coming together of everything dancehall and reggae, right? The people who play the instruments
have to be involved.
The producers who produce the music, and collectively, it's supposed to be a curriculum that also says, this is how you make money from your creation.
Yes.
Right? This is how you protect your creation. And you know, that's what my thought is.
I hope the powers that be are listening to your train of thought.
About, you know, is more than one location on the island, because, like we say, we have 14 parishes. And every area have DJ artists. So
St. Catherine, the man said.
Bernard Lodge.
Right?
Yeah.
So St. Catherine is where it starts, right? I listen to all of the old artists, them we talk about them used to live at this bush and that them bush, and them they take country bus come a town, call them one bus.
Yeah, man.
Right? So now them can still take country bus come a town to come bus. All I'm saying to those of you is that I'm not saying that it's gonna work. I'm not saying that it's not gonna work. I'm saying that we need to be more open-minded, because we see one get up every day and cuss say,
government not do nothing for the music.
Me just go pay $70 going on one dance for go watch them artists here, you know, and all them boy have a song, you know, them can't perform. Them can't do this and them can't do that. Who? Me go listen to my favorite artist, what they a star, and John, the man not have it no more star. The man couldn't even hit a note. These are the things that we talk about, right? So now that there's a solution, again, I understand the concern that it's coming from a government official. I get that understanding. But I do feel that a museum for our culture and a school for our culture,
can't lose.
It's a good direction to step in. Because, you know, what we are going to wait. Here's what we are going to happen. We are going to wait till Trinidad get up one morning, you know, and Marshall feel like he was going to dig in his bank account and say, say a soca school, a soca university, they are Trinidad.
And Drew are going to say,
then you're going to hear say, Mayor Matley build a soca school in Barbados.
and
then Drew,
you see who the witness Jamaican, who the love happy people, who the workless, yes, who the for shame, who the make them do it first over there. Drew, I going to say.
Right? So I'm just saying, like, this reminds me so much of when, you know, years ago I said to everybody that, dub plates are going to end up killing Sound Clash. It's going to kill it. Now, for you as a sound man that goes to a dance hall and all you want to hear is dub plates, you're going to look at me and say, I'm an idiot. How you for take out the bullet out of the gun? And at the dub plate, they were kill sound. And I'm saying to them that, yeah, but the new generation that's coming in can't afford the dubs. So then, do we stop after everybody who can afford dubs? Can we stop? Do we stop? And I'm making that analogy to say that when you're used to the normal and the normal entertains you and give you a maximum entertainment, you don't want anybody to change that entertainment, even if it's for the betterment of the entertainment. Right? Because you yourself are entertained. Right? So when Chin says, boy, a man supposed to can play 45 in a sound clash, for hear a man say, who? I know my fault, so the boy Drew never get for voice tenor saw nitty gritty, right? So if Drew never got to voice tenor saw nitty gritty and you got to,
right?
So where do we stay?
Right, the advantage already unfair.
Not even that. It never moves from your foot.
Right.
Because if you got to voice tenor saw nitty gritty, your sound is 30, 40 years old.
Right.
Drew is a new sound man, and he has a young crowd and a young following, and you need that young following and crowd to refresh the dancehall crowd, but they're not coming there because Drew don't have tenor and integrity.
The question becomes this: are you in love with yourself, or are you really in love with the culture?
Exactly.
Because if you're in love with yourself, then you know it's okay to make selfish decisions,
right?
Because you're doing it for yourself.
Yeah. You
don't want dancehall to change. You don't want a school. You don't want this because of yourself, right? But if you're looking at the longevity of the culture that you claim to love, then you have to scratch your head and say, well, if they do it the right way,
it would be great.
It could work. Hip hop has been being taught in university for years.
Yep. Different universities.
Different universities for years. Without the presence of hip hop artists, right? It's just lecturers who lecture about what has been documented or what their experience is, and every now and again they'll bring in someone to kind of co-sign what is it that they're lecturing to their thing. And you're talking about big schools. Our music, our sidewalk thing. We always talk about sidewalk university when we talk about our culture, right? Now, if universities in America is teaching patois, right? Universities in America is teaching our culture, right? There are seminars where Roy was invited to and Big Youth invited to show the connection of dance hall as it relates to hip hop. These things are documented, right? Cool Herc has sat on platforms, right? Showing the migration of Jamaican culture into the American culture to create what is called hip hop now, right? Why is it that we would shun away from a university that
teaching the thing everybody else is flying everybody around the world for teach?
Yes, and think about the people who are trying to be reggae artists in Europe and Japan and California and this and that would want to go to Jamaica to get certified. I'm just thinking, and then I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen. But I'm just thinking that it's not really a bad idea, because guess what? It possibly could bring back the ownership of dancehall and reggae to Jamaica.
Of course it does.
Because we're losing the ownership of that. As the generations progress, right? They're starting to move further and further away from, remember the other day, one of the Afrobeats brethren, right? Was saying that reggae is African. And before people got to really hear what he was saying, they took it out of context and ran with it, because we don't want to hear that, right? Reggae is African. Right away, we have a problem with that. We're not listening to the whole. We're not pressing to say, let me read the story or let me hear the interview. It's just reggae is African. So again, when you go to California, right, you have a whole culture of reggae artists that don't visit Jamaica, don't need to go to Jamaica.
Don't look like you and I.
And they're selling
records
more than what we are selling. Here's an opportunity to build an institution, and if it is done right, we can, further put our claim on what's ours. I think people need to stop being so narrow-minded there.
I support what the government are trying to do still, because you what now, Virgin talk about education earlier and how it connect. But I want to show the Virgin say, listen, you learn more with music, more than when you do it in the classroom to him, If you sing it out to him catch it more quicker than anything else,
He ain't call you live.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
What about you? Could you operate an entity like that?
I couldn't operate an entity like that, but I would love to have the opportunity to be involved in an entity like that. Maybe I could lecture sound system culture. Maybe I could lecture some of my experiences, but right? I believe that Jamaica has enough intellectuals in Jamaica to give people a full understanding of what it takes to make it in the broader picture.
That may sound good, but you have all the qualifications now. Because look what you do now. You give all of the elder them and all them in a busy long time. You give them honors where them deserve. And plus, you have run a sound structure all them time. You can do it. All you have to do, Daddy, is you get your counselor them and all the good meaning people them come together and write down things on paper. Because look from the other aspect of this. You are selling by a time for you have them own a Oscar or whatever it is.
I agree.
Yeah, look at you. Me want to see you in your cocktail suit, with the nasty on top of your head, man. All right,
In order for us to bring sound system culture back to the way it was, we have to add value, right? There has to be some type of value. And this is what I don't think that we all understand. A lot of us, when we think about reggae, we think about dancehall, we think about sound system culture, we are dwelling in the value that once existed.
Right.
We're not dwelling in today's value. Even though we think that we live in the presence, our thoughts and memories of what we love is in the past, right? So we're arguing about our music, but the basis of our music is 90s dancehall, you know, early 2000s dancehall. So we're not realizing that, the music now reach where it did reach before, right? But we're still arguing from that standpoint, and we're standing wrong and strong, you know, because we think that because it happened in our time, it resonates into this time.
Man, the fact is, we know it might not run perfect, but if you get it started, the artists can get on board, everybody get on board, and hold their feet to the fire.
Yeah, man.
To me, it will be a success.
I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna sound real cocky, and it's gonna sound like I'm anal, and I'm not. It's just facts, right? If some of the sound systems listened to me at the time that we had certain conversations one-on-one, they would all have money now. Facts. If some of them just listened when we say, forget about that and do this. Forget about that and do this. Don't do that, do this. But when I was saying to them, don't do that, do this, you know what they thought about? If I do what Chin is saying, then the industry is going to look at me as a sellout. If I do what Chin is saying, I'm going to lose my place. And my only ambition right now
is to be here,
is to run the place. Right? We weren't thinking about the money aspect of it. Right? When I went to Sounds and say, brother, listen, you just win that clash, you know. Load that little clash thing, and take it over, so. And man, I say, what Chin I talk about? Me just kill a boy, me go kill 2 more boy. But guess what? Didn't listen. So what them do? Go in for kill 2 more boy and them get killed. So the look of money where them could have make off of the popularity of just killing a champion, it's gone. Because now you stained your record, right? I remember having conversations with Ricky Trooper, and I said, Trooper, if we do this thing the right way, when promoters are book soundman, a first class way of flying, because at that time it was Air Jamaica, right, and Caribbean Airways, right, and I was saying, if we do this thing the right way, we can start asking for first class tickets just like the artists, because in my opinion, I was telling everybody, stop calling us soundmen. We're entertainers. The artists, them are entertainer. The sound man, them are entertainer. We're just doing 2 different type of entertainment. So if I can go to a venue as a sound man, right, and the promoter charge $50 for me, and the place hold 1,000 people, no ram the dance.
No, you ram me, man.
I'm the talent. I ram the dance. If he goes as an artist and the promoter charge $60, $70, and him ram the same not the 2 are ram the same 1,000 big venue. So why is it now that I have to sit in the back of the plane while the artist gets the amenities of everything else?
Right.
So I was saying to them, bro, again, bring value to what we're doing. Once you bring value to what we're doing, we can move from the bathroom in the back of the plane
to upper front.
It's value. The man them never listen. Because guess what? Sometimes in order for you to go forward, you have to step backwards. And nobody wanted to give up
and step
backwards. I went to Tony and I said, Tony, listen, you have it now. You got the whole industry in your hands. Here what you're going to do right now. You're going to become a producer. Since the producers them keep bringing the songs to you, for boss them, and the artists them keep using your sound to test their new music on dubs, here's what you need to do. Come up with a Tony Mataran album. Tony Mataran presents Bounty Killer, Sean Paul, Vegas, Ray, all doing songs for you. If Tony wished to speak the truth, we had this like 15 years ago conversation. When the man had done the place.
Wow.
What was Tony's attitude at the time? Chin, for me, for do that, me gonna lose my spot. Me can't go focus on that right now because I want to mash up Fully Loaded and I want to tour the world. But again, sometimes you have to step back
to go forward.
Now think of how big, Tony's big now, but think of that accolade and that other stripe that he would have had on his sleeve if he was super producer Tony Mataran. at the time when nobody could say no to him.
Yeah.
When a man here said Tony Carly, you know, you had to go. Tell the truth.
I true, man.
Right? When Tony had clashed, Tony used to go around to the artists them and say, yo, hey boy, any old me here, you call me name and a dub plate, you know. Me now play no more of your song.
Yeah, man.
And you know what happened? They were scared to call his name in dub plates because he had that power.
Yeah, man.
We do not know how to leverage our celebrities in our business. That's the problem. Tony come, he's still doing his thing. But then you have somebody like a David Radigan. And I got to bring it up. He came and leveraged his celebrity. Wrote a book.
Yeah.
Big up him team. You have a Mighty Crown come, leverage them celebrity. Open record label and clothing line and all of this, and boom. Now, you got the boys, the white boys in California. Well, they're leveraging their celebrity too.
Yep.
But they're not doing it in the dancehall space, they're doing it in the reggae space.
Yep.
Right.
So now our real reggae artists were decorated and they hits and, you know, got all of these accolades under their belt. Them have to beg for go up on show with the man them at California. How does that work?
Right.
How does that work, bro? When the guys them won the Grammy the other day, you heard some of the artists them come out and say, yo, big up to them man there because them man they shared the platform.
With us.
How you for share platform with me?
And it's our platform. Yep.
Ask yourself this, right? How much artists that you look at now, Soundman also, right? Where 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, them rich. And you look upon them today, and if they could have set them out good, they would have asked for $100. Think about it.
Begging
Think
a
about
thing.
how much of them is now begging a thing. And you're looking back at them and you're saying to yourself, if me did have the money where you make 8 years ago, and the amount of show where you did not get at
Yeah,
$40,000 and $50,000 a show,
Yeah, man.
them time there, you know. Remember, you know, those times, $50,000 and $40,000 is like 70 grand now,
No,
you know.
yep.
Right? For you, for us, go so right back to becoming a normal citizen and nothing to show for it. It's because we invest in hype.
Right.
Right? And we don't invest in any other thing. So I'm not saying that the academy is the solution.
No, but it's a
But I
start.
say entertain it
It's a start.
and, you know, and weigh the odds and the evens and see if we can fix what needs to be repaired.